It's 7:12 a.m. You're already late. One kid can't find their shoes. The other is melting down because the cereal is wrong. Your phone buzzes with a work message and your brain is trying to do math while your nervous system is on fire. Then it happens, a full tantrum, screaming, kicking, the kind that makes you feel like every eye in the universe is judging you and you feel the wave rising in your chest. The one that says, "I'm about to snap." Most parents think the problem is the child, but the book makes a colder claim. The real problem is the reaction, because the moment you lose control, you feed the fire, and the moment you stay calm, you become the anchor today. I'm breaking down the Stoic parent, and I'll give you 5 mental tools you can use in real life: tantrums, teen anxiety, and parental burnout. Stay until the end, because I'll give you one sentence that stops your reaction in seconds. Parenting is not just raising kids. It's a daily stress test for your nervous system. You can read all the advice in the world, but when your child is screaming or your teenager says something cruel or you're running on 4 hours of sleep, you don't need a quote, you need a system. That's what this video is. Not be patient, not take deep breaths. Real tools you can run in the moment when your body wants to explode. Here's what you'll get in the next 11 to 12 minutes. How to create a pause before you react. How to stop feeding tantrums with your nervous energy. How to set boundaries with a teen without turning it into war. How to break the guilt loop that drains parents. And how to rebuild energy when you are close to burnout. If you want more book summaries that turn into practical moves, subscribe. We post tools you can use immediately. Now let's start with the first skill, the one that changes everything, the trigger gap. Chapter 1. Create the gap. Because you don't lose control in the tantrum, you lose control in the half second before you respond. Here's what happens in real time. Your child screams, your body reacts first. Chest tight, jaw clenched, heat rising. Your brain interprets it as danger, not noise. And then it adds a story. I'm failing. Everyone is watching. This has to stop now. That story is gasoline. The book's first lesson is simple. You can't control the tantrum in the moment, but you can control the one thing that decides everything, your reaction. Stoicism calls it the space between stimulus and response. You don't need philosophy terms. You need a button you can press. So here's the drill. It takes 10 seconds and works, even when you are exhausted, the 10-second reset. Step 1, pause. Your body do 1 slow inhale, 1 slow exhale. Step 2, name. What's happening in 1 word? Anger, shame, panic, ego. Step 3, choose your next action like a coach, not like a fighter. Because the moment you name the emotion, you stop being the emotion now. Here's the key twist. Parents think calm means passive. It doesn't. Calm is control. Calm is leadership. The calmer you are, the faster your child's nervous system borrows your stability. So instead of yelling or negotiating, you hold the line with a steady tone and a simple script. I hear you. You're safe. We're not doing that short calm. Repeatable. If you only learn one thing from this video, learn this. You don't have to win the argument. You have to win the moment, because once you can pause, you stop feeding the fire. And in Chapter 2, we'll expose the mistake that keeps tantrums alive. Most parents do it with good intentions, and it makes everything worse. Chapter 2. Stop feeding the fire, because a tantrum is not just a child's emotion. It's a nervous system looking for fuel. Most parents feed it without realizing the child screams. You start explaining, you negotiate, you threaten, you ask questions. They can't answer. You say, calm down, while your own voice is vibrating with stress and the child's brain. Here's one thing. Danger remains. That's the trap. When you bring big energy, the tantrum gets bigger, not because your child is trying to control you, but because their nervous system is borrowing yours. The Stoic parent approach is almost unfair in its simplicity. You stop adding emotion to emotion. You do not match volume. You do not argue with chaos. You do not try to teach a lesson in the middle of a storm. You become the anchor. Here's the practical tool from this chapter, the calm voice script, 2 sentences only. Pick one version and repeat it like a broken record with the same calm tone every time. Option A, I hear you. I'll help when your voice is calm. Option B, you're allowed to be upset. We're not doing that. Option C, I'm here. This boundary stays. Notice what these do. They validate the feeling, but they do not reward the behavior. They are short. So you don't get pulled into a debate. And they're calm. So you don't add fuel. Now, one more important detail. Stop asking, why are you doing this during a tantrum? A dysregulated child cannot give you logic. They can only give you noise. Your job is to stabilize first, teach later. So here is the Stoic sequence. Regulate, then educate, calm body. First, calm tone. Second, boundary. Third, lesson later when the brain is back online. If you do this consistently, tantrums shrink not overnight, but because the fire stops getting fed. But what if it's not a toddler tantrum? What if it's a teenager who doesn't scream, but cuts you with words? That's chapter 3. Because teen anxiety and teen attitude can trigger parents even harder, and if you fight it the wrong way, you create war at home. Chapter 3. Don't take the hit, set the limit. Because with teenagers, the fastest way to lose influence is to fight for control. A teen doesn't always throw tantrums. They throw words. You don't get it. You're embarrassing. I hate this family, leave me alone. And the parent's brain hears disrespect, threat, failure. So the parent behaves as if it's a courtroom. Lectures, sarcasm, power struggle, winning the sentence. But here's the Stoic parent twist. A teen's words are often not a verdict. They are a pressure release. If you treat every line like an attack, you train them to either escalate or shut down, and you train yourself to become reactive, not respected. Stoicism gives you a better goal, not win the argument, win the relationship. You do that with what I call boundary without battle. Here's the 4-step drill. Step 1, pause 2 seconds, 1 breath. Keep your tone neutral. Step 2, mirror the feeling, not the insult. I can hear you're overwhelmed. I can see you're angry. Not don't talk to me like that. First feeling, first step 3. Set the limit on a single line. I'm willing to talk, not to be attacked. We can continue when it's respectful. This conversation ends if you insult. Step 4, exit calmly, not to punish, to protect the boundary. I'll be in the kitchen when you're ready. This is powerful because it does 2 things at once. It validates emotion, but does not tolerate disrespect. It also stops the teen from controlling the room with intensity, because intensity no longer earns a reaction. Now, what about teen anxiety? When a teen is anxious, parents often panic too. They start fixing, pushing, and interrogating, but anxiety doesn't respond to pressure, it responds to safety. The Stoic parent move is to be steady and curious. Use this line. I'm on your side. What feels heavy right now? Then stop talking, let silence do the work. Because your calm is not just a vibe, it's a signal. It tells their nervous system, we can handle this. This chapter presents a hard truth. You cannot control your teen's mood. You can control the environment you create and the standards you keep. And that brings us to the part that silently destroys parents' guilt. Because guilt makes you overreact, over-explain, and overcompensate. Chapter 4 is where we break the guilt loop and rebuild the parent identity without shame. Chapter 4, drop the guilt loop. Because guilt doesn't make you a better parent. It makes you a reactive one. Here's the pattern. You lose your patience. You raise your voice. You say something you regret, or you don't show up the way you wanted. Then the second punishment begins your mind. replays it like a courtroom highlight reel. You're failing, you're damaging them. Good parents don't do this. You're the problem. That inner voice feels responsible, but it's actually destructive. It drains your energy, shortens your patience, and makes the next trigger more explosive. The Stoic parent approach makes a clean separation. This is what happened, and there is the story you attach to it. What happened is data. The story becomes identity, and identity is heavy. The goal is not never make mistakes. The goal is to recover fast, repair cleanly, and return to your standards. This book advances a simple idea. Judge yourself by the process, not by a single bad moment. Here is the drill. The evening debrief. 2 minutes. 3 questions. 1. Where did I stay steady today? Even if it was small, 1 moment of control counts. 2. Where did I react and what triggered it? Don't shame yourself to learn the pattern. 3. What is 1 repair or 1 adjustment? I will make tomorrow 1, not 10. Stoicism is about execution, not guilt. Now there's a second layer that frees you immediately when you make a mistake. You fix it out loud. Calmly, without drama, a simple script. I was too intense. That's on me. I'm sorry. Next time I will pause and try again. That apology does not weaken your authority. It strengthens it. It teaches accountability. It also teaches your child that mistakes are part of life, not the end of love. The cold truth is this: a parent who never apologizes creates fear. A parent who repairs creates trust. Now, once you remove shame, you see the real problem most parents are battling. It's not your child. It's not your teen. It's your energy, because even the most patient parent breaks when they are running on empty. So Chapter 5 is about parental burnout, how to rebuild energy with systems, not motivation, and how to protect your nervous system like it's your job. Chapter 5. Stop trying to push through, build a system, because burnout is not a character flaw. It is what happens when your nervous system never gets to recover. Here is how parental burnout usually looks. You are not always sad, you are numb. Small things irritate you. You snap over a spoon in the sink, not because of the spoon, but because you have been carrying stress for weeks, and then you feel guilty for snapping, which drains you even more. The Stoic parent has a different approach. It is not more inspiration, it is less of a load. Stoicism treats energy like a budget. If you spend it on everything, you will have nothing left for what matters. So the goal is subtraction and minimum standards. Here is the drill from this chapter, the non-negotiables. 3 tiny rules. Pick 3 daily behaviors that protect your stability, not heroic goals. Minimum standards. Example 1. 2 minutes of quiet before you speak to anyone. No phone. Just breathe. Tell your brain, I lead today to 1 reset ritual after a hard moment. Wash your hands. Slowly step outside for 30 seconds. Drink water. Reset your body so you do not carry the fight into the next hour. 3. 1 small win that proves you are not powerless. Make the bed. Send 1 message you have been avoiding. Clean 1 corner. A small win restores agency, and agency restores energy. Now the book makes a point most parents need to hear. You cannot pour from an empty cup, but you also cannot wait for a perfect day to refill it. So you build recovery into the day in micro doses. The Stoic move is to stop negotiating with exhaustion. When your body says I can't, you respond with a standard. I will do the next right thing calmly, not everything, the next thing. If you do the non-negotiables for a week, you will feel the shift. Your reactions slow down, your patience increases, not because life got easier, but because you stopped living in emergency mode, and that sets up the final moment of the video. 1 sentence that turns all 5 chapters into a system you can run on your hardest days. Here's the Stoic parent system in 1 line. Regulate yourself. First, lead with calm, set the boundary, then teach the lesson. That's the whole framework. When the tantrum hits you, create the gap. 10 seconds, 1 breath. Name the emotion. Choose. When the fire grows, you stop feeding it. Calm voice, 2 sentences. Same tone, same boundary when a teen attacks. You don't take the hit. You mirror the feeling, set the limit, and exit calmly. When guilt shows up, you don't let it become identity. You debrief, repair, and adjust. When burnout creeps in, you stop pushing through. You protect your energy with minimum standards. Now here's your challenge for the next 7 days. Pick one tool and run it daily. Just one, the 10-second reset. The calm voice script, boundary without battle, evening debrief, or the 3 non-negotiables. Do it for a week and you'll notice something that matters. Your home feels safer. Not because your kids changed overnight, but because you became the anchor. If you want more practical book breakdowns like this, subscribe and comment on one word that describes what you need most right now. Calm, boundaries, energy, guilt, or patience. I read the comments and they also helped me choose the next book. And if you want the perfect next video after this, watch Critical Thinking Mastery. Control your thoughts before they control you. Because parenting is not just managing kids, it's managing the stories your mind tells you under pressure. See you in the next one.